Hari Om.
Hari Om, Nana. Nana, you can start. Yes, you can start.
Yeah, thank you. Who is chanting the 4th chapter today?
There is no one who has come forward, but if there's no one, I will chant.
Okay, right. Om. Om. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasudrusham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutav Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. Yeah, Gita chanting can be started.
Jai Gurudev, Brahmaraji.
Yes, Jai Gurudev.
You will be chanting 18th also, no?
18th, we're not chanting all the shlokas.
Yeah, but some of them, right?
Yeah.
Would you like me to go for the fourth one?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I'll be very selfish.
No problem. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Is it visible enough? Let me just check if. Yeah, you can go ahead, Sheilaji.
Okay. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Atha Chaturthodhyayah. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manurikshva Kave Bravi Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarshayo Viduhu Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nashtah Parantapa Sa Evayam Maya Tedya Yoga Proktah Puratanaha Bhaktosi Me Sakha Cheti Rahasyam Bheduttamam Arjuna Vacha Paramam Bhavo Janma Paramain Janma Vivasvataha Kathamet Dvijaniyam Tvamadau Proktavaniti Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni Me Vyatitani Janmani Tavacharjuna Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Natvam Ved Parantapa Ajopi Sanya Vyatma भूतानामीश्वरोऽपि सन् प्रकृतिं स्वामधिष्ठाय सम्भवाम्यात्ममायया यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन वीतरागभयक्रोधा मन्मया मामुपाश्रितः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा पूता मद्भावमागताः ये तथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तांस्तथैव भजाम्यहम् मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः काङ्क्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं यजन्त इह देवताः क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्यत्कर्तारमव्ययम् न मां कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति न मे कर्मफले स्पृहा इति मां योऽभिजानाति कर्मभिर्न स बध्यते एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् त्वं पूर्वैः पूर्वतरं कृतम् किं कर्मेति कवयोऽप्यत्र मोहिताः तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मोक्षसे शुभात् कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः कर्मण्यकर्म यः पश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत् न कर्म कृत् यस्य सर्वे समारम्भा यस्य सर्वे समारम्भा कामसङ्कल्पवर्जिताः ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं तमाहुः पण्डितं बुधाः त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः निराशीर्यच्चित्तात्मा त्यक्तसर्वपरिग्रहः शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम् समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वानपि निबध्यते गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविः ब्रह्माग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना देवमेवापरे यज्ञं योगिनः पर्युपासते ब्रह्माज्ञावपरे यज्ञं यज्ञेनैवोपजुह्वति श्रोत्रादीनीन्द्रियाण्यान्ये संयम्याग्निषु जुह्वति शब्दादीन् विषयानन्य इन्द्रियाग्निषु जुह्वति सर्वान्द्रियकर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयमयोगाग्नौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते द्रव्ययज्ञास्तपो यज्ञा योगयज्ञास्तथा परे स्वाध्यायज्ञानयज्ञाश्च संश्रितव्रताः अपाने जुह्वति प्राणं प्राणे पानं तथा परे प्राणापानगति रुद्ध्वा प्राणायामपरायणाः अपरे नियताहारा प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति सर्वेऽप्येते यज्ञविदो यज्ञक्षपितकल्मषाः यज्ञशिष्ठामृतभुजो यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम् नायं लोकोऽस्त्ययज्ञस्य कुतोऽन्यः कुरु सत्तमा एवं बहुविधा यज्ञा वितता ब्रह्मणो मुखे कर्मजान् विद्धितान् सर्वान् एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्ष्यसे श्रेयान् द्रव्यमयाज्ञात् ज्ञानयज्ञः परन्तप सर्वं कर्माखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेश्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव येन भूतान्यशेषेण द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथोमपि अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृतं महा सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृज्जिनं सन्तरिष्यसि यथैधांसि समिद्धोऽग्निर्भस्मसात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्नि सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा न हि ज्ञाने सदृशं न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते तत्स्वयं योगसंसिद्धि कालेनात्मनि विन्दति श्रद्धा श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति अज्ञानश्च अश्रद्धधानश्च संशयात्मा विनश्यति नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परो न सुखं संशयात्मनः योगसन्न्यस्तकर्माणं ज्ञानसञ्छिन्न संशयम् आत्मवन्तन्न कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय तस्माद् ज्ञानसम्भूतं हृत्स्थं ज्ञानसिनात्मनं चित्त्वैनं संशयं योगम् आतिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ भारत ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद् भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे ज्ञानकर्मसन्न्यासयोगो नाम चतुर्थोऽध्यायः। ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता पंचमोऽध्यायः। अथ पंचमोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यच्छ्रेय एतयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्।
Thank you. Very well chanted.
धन्यवाद नाना जी। जय गुरुदेव।
Yeah. Ada Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
I will share the 18th chapter. now.
Ashtadashodhyayah Moksha Sannyasa Yogaha Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamichhami Veditum Chagasya cha Hrushikesha Pruthakkeshi Nishudana Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahutyagam Vichekshanaha Chadyam Doshavadityeke Karma Prahurmanishinaha Yajnadana Tapa Karma Nachadyamiti Chapare Nischayam Shrunume Tatra Chage Bharata Sattama Chago hi Purusha Vyagra Trividha Samprakirtitaha Yajnadana Tapa Karma Nachadyam Karyameva Tat Yajno Danam Tapaschaiva Pavanani Manishinam Etanyapitu Karmani Sangam Chektva Phalani Cha Kartavyani me Partha Nishchitam Matamuttamam Niyatasya tu Sannyasaha Karmano Nopapadyate Mohatasya Parityagaha Tamasa Parikirtitaha Dukkhamityeva Yat Karma Kaya Klesha Bhayatsyajet Sakrutva Rajasam Tyagam Naivatyaga Phalam Labhet Karyamityeva Yat Karma Niyatam Kriyate Arjuna Sangam Chektva Phalam Chaiva Satyaga satviko mataha nasdveshya kushalam karma kushalena anushajyate tyage sattva samavishtaha medhavi chinna samshayaha nahi deha bruta shekyam chektum karmanya sheshataha yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi vidhiyate. I think we'll stop here. We will go to the text. Okay.
Yes, Nana. Just give
You're
me 1
looking
minute.
for the PDF projection.
Correct. 1 minute. I'm
You
just.
try that. In the meantime,
Yeah.
I'll start off on the introductory notes.
Yes, please.
For this chapter, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. For this chapter, Bhagavan Shankara has given an avatarika. Avatarika is like a curtain raiser for the Bhashya for this chapter. And in that, he has summed up what all this chapter is going to talk of. Right? What he says is, Sarvasya eva Gita Shastrasya Arthaha Asmin Adhyaye Upasamhrutya Sarvaha cha Vedardho Vaktavyaha Iti Eva Maddaha Ayam Adhyayaha Arabhyate. Continuing in the Avatarika, Shankaracharya says, Sarveshu hi Atiteshu Adhyayeshu Uktaha Ardhaha Asmin Adhyaye Avagamyate. What does it mean?
The meanings of all the chapters are there in this.
Pardon?
The meanings of all the chapters are there in this chapter.
Yeah, okay. Sarvasya eva Gita Shastrasya Arthaha Asmin Adhyaye Upasamhrutya. That is, Bhagavan Krishna, what is he doing is, he is as though in a very concise manner, he is kind of summing up the Sarva, Sara of the 17 chapters. The essence of the 17 chapters, he has, in a concise manner, summed up in this chapter. And Sarvaha cha Vedardho Vaktavyaha. The essence of the Vedas also has to be taught through this chapter. Iti eva maddaha ayam adhyayaha arabhyate. Having that in mind, Bhagavan Krishna has started this adhyaya. And not only that, this adhyaya, sarveshu hi atiteshu, all the past chapters to this chapter, adhyayeshu, uktaha ardhaha, whatever was said, the tatparya of those adhyayas, asmin adhyaye avagamyate. Okay? It is in and through this adhyaya, the tatparya of the 17 chapters is available in a very concise manner. Moksha Sannyasa Yogaha. Right? And the Sarva Vedardha Sara Sangraha is Gita Shastram. That is what is also said by the same Shankaracharya. The entire Tatparya of all the Vedas is the Gita Shastram. What is the Tatparya of the Gita Shastram? The Tatparya of the Gita Shastram is available at the end of every chapter we chant. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. So Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra are the Tatparya of the Gita Shastram. And Gita Shastram happens to be the Tatparya of the Sarva Vedaha. So from that point of view, this Brahma Vidya is one Tatparyam, and Yoga Shastra is the other Tatparyam. Now, how do you get on to this Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastram? It is through the Shraddha, through the effort that you put in with Shraddha, Shraddha endowed with Sattvika Guna, Shraddha, that Sattvika Shraddha, you will attain to Karma Yoga Anushtanam very successfully. And from there, Jnanotpachitti, and that will lead you to Sannyasa. Sannyasa of what? Sannyasa of the samsara, which is a pratibandhaka for moksha. Sannyasa is an obstacle for you to realize who indeed you are, that is moksha. So for that moksha, this samsara has become the obstacle. And how do you get rid of that samsara? Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparaha samyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena adhigachyati. That Shraddha is required. Through Shraddha, Karma Yoga, and through that you will have Antakarana Shuddhi, then Jnana Prapti, Sannyasa Yogena, Moksha Prapti. That is how it is. Now, what is the Adhyaya? What is the title of this Adhyaya? Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. What does it mean? Karma Yoga, I can understand. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, I can understand. Jnanena Karma Sannyasam Kuru. Sannyasa Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Atma Samyama Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all these you can understand. What is this Moksha Sannyasa Yoga? Is it that moksha has to be Shagam Kurvani? Moksha has to be Sanyastaha? No. This moksha is what you are desiring, and desiring that only you have undertaken the study of the Gita Shastra. Gita Shastra Tatparya is what? Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavad Gita so Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam, that Brahma Vidya, Yoga Shastre, that Brahma Vidya, that will lead you to moksha. You will rediscover who indeed you are. For that is possible through sannyasa. Sannyasa of what? Sannyasa of the samsara. The notion that you are a samsari will have to be given up. The notion that you are a bound person will have to be given up. That can be done through jnana. And that jnana is possible through karma yoga. And that karma yoga requires a lot of shraddha. In and through all these 17 chapters, Bhagavan Krishna has been driving that point very, very cleanly. Even in the first chapter, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, that is what? Arjuna was stricken with a lot of conflict and a resultant sorrow. And because he was keen on getting rid of that sorrow, Nahi prapashyami mama panujyat echhokamuchoshanam indriyanam avakya bhoma vasapatnam ruddham radyam suranam apichadhipatyam. Hey Krishna, I am unable to understand what is it really pulling me down. I am unable to understand what yet shokam indriyanam dahati. The shokam is as though burning all my indriyas. I am unable to contain this. I would like to know what is the remedy, and that requires shraddha. And that shraddha has resulted in the Sankhya Yoga, which resulted in the Karma Yoga. And in the Jnana Yoga, Bhagavan unequivocally mentioned, Shraddha van labhate jnanam, ashraddha dhana purushaha, aprapya maham, mrityu samsara vatmani. All these things have been said. So Shraddha is very, very important. And what kind of a Shraddha? Sattvika Shraddha is required. Rajasika and Tamasika Shraddhas, they are okay, but they cannot remove the karanam for samsara. They cannot remove. and Sattvika Shraddha is required. That is why in this chapter, Bhagavan keeps on, covering a lot of aspects of Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasic Shraddhas in respect of so many areas of human endeavor. One is Tyagam. One is Tyagam. In that Tyagam, there are three kinds. Sattvika Tyagam, Rajasika Tyagam, and Tamasika Tyagam. Why Bhagavan mentioned all these things is, he is very keen that we should get rid of the Rajasika, Tamasika aspects of this Tyagam or whatever other guna, and get on to Sattvika Tyagam. And Sattvika Bhavena, it will be a blessing to you. So he has covered in this chapter the Tyagam, aspects of Tyagam, aspects of Jnanam, aspects of Karma, aspects of Karta, who is doing the Karma, that Karta, and who, propelled by what Buddhi, that Buddhi, Sattvika Buddhi, Rajasika Buddhi, Tamasika Buddhi, then Dhruti. The kind of nishtha that is required for all these things requires Dhruti, a kind of an unflinching commitment. Okay, that Dhruti, then Sukham, all these things are covered very, very nicely in this. And in the 14th and 17th chapters also, Bhagavan has covered such like things. Like in the 14th chapter, he has covered Bandham, Sattvika Bandham, Rajasika Bandham, and Tamasika Bandham, and how they manifest. This Sattvika Guna, how does it manifest? Prakasham. And Rajasika Guna, how does it manifest? Pravritti. Then Tamasika Gunam, how does it manifest? Ajnanam, all these things. He has mentioned very nicely. And at the end, towards the end, when the Samprapte Sannihite Kale, when you are no longer likely to live another minute, what is that guna that you need to have? Sattvika Guna, Rajasik Guna, Tamasika Guna. With what guna you will attain to what kind of a loka, that is also covered. And the phalam for all these three, Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika gunas is mentioned. And what is generally the outcome of entertaining these gunas, that what is created out of these gunas also is covered. That was in the 14th chapter. In the 17th chapter, Bhagavan very nicely covered Yajna, the three types of Yajna. Sattvika Yajna, Rajasika Yajna, Tamasika Yajna. Then three types of Ahara people would love. Then the three types of attitudes people have, that is that pravritti, and the three types of tapas, three types of dhanam. All these things have been covered. Incidentally, I think Brahmara has sent you a 2 or 3 page PDF, which contains the details of all these things, which I had summed up quite some years back. That I was happy I could preserve that, lucky, and that if you people see, you will know what all it means. So in this Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, all that is covered. And what is covered is, in essence, the Tatparya of the 17 chapters in a very concise manner, Sankshipta Margena. Then finally, Bhagavan says, this is the way out. This is the way out. And that will be the 65th and 66th verses of this chapter. This chapter has 78 verses. After the 66th verse, it is considered Gita has ended. It started with the 11th verse of the second chapter. Ashotyanam ashotyastvam prajnavadanscha bhashase gata asun agata asumscha na anushochante panditaha. That was the Prabodha. Gita was started with the 11th verse of the second chapter. And it as though concluded on the 18th chapter with the 66th verse. sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Though after the 66th verse, Bhagavan Krishna keeps on saying a few verses till the 72nd verse, I think. Those are all the kind of a phalashruti. They are not the udbodha. They are not part of the teaching. It is part of the phalashruti. That is why the Shastrajñas consider 66th verse is the culminating shloka of the Gita Shastram. So that is how it is. So we will have to very carefully assimilate whatever knowledge Bhagavan intended giving us through these 78 verses of this chapter. Okay? Bhagavan actually exits from this chapter in the 72nd verse. Afterwards, Arjuna says one verse, and Sanjaya takes over some half a dozen verses he will have. That is how it is 78 verses. This is supposed to be the biggest, largest chapter of the entire Gita Shastram. Very understandably so, because 17 chapters, the essence is as though covered in this, together with Samasta Veda Dasara Sangraha Bhutam Moksha Sannyasa Yogaha. Moksha Sannyasa Yogaha. One Mahatma said, this Moksha Sannyasa Yoga is kind of misleading to the commoner who keeps on chanting this. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, Daiva Asura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. That I can understand. Daiva Asura Sampad, the wealth of the Devas and the wealth of the Asuras, that the division, that yoga. Shraddha Tre Vibhaga Yoga, the three types of Shraddha and their division. This chapter talks of those, I can understand. What is this Moksha Sannyasa Yoga? Moksha has to be given up. If it is to be given up, what is indeed our effort? Why are we unnecessarily stuck in this samsara sagaram? And why are you keen on getting out of it? It is not that. This is through sannyasa, ultimately through sannyasa, through getting rid of the ajnana janita bhavana that you are a samsari, you are stuck here. That bhavana must be gotten rid of, and through that moksha. And till now, Bhagavan Krishna has been using the two terms, sannyasa and tyaga, as though they are synonymous. As though they are synonymous. Arjuna was kind of confused. Not only Arjuna, all of us, we are all Arjunas. As I said in the beginning, we have to take the role of Arjuna, and once in a while, we'll have to take even the role of Bhagavan Krishna. We must as though assume, if you want to really succeed in assimilating the essence of the Gita, you must assume you are Ketaya and talking to Arjuna. And that is when you will have understood the Gita immensely, very nicely. It is as though Bhagavanu Vacha, Ahameva Bhagavan, Aham Brahmasmi. That kind of a bhavana, if you can have, that's a tremendous blessing. And the Gita Shastram is only towards that end. Arjuna has expressed a doubt. Arjuna expressed a doubt almost in almost kind of alternate chapters. In the first chapter, it was kind of Arjuna and Sanjaya. Then second chapter, Arjuna asked twice. Okay? Then third chapter, he asked a question in the beginning. Towards the end, he has asked another question. Okay? Adhakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha, etc. Then in the fourth chapter, he kind of objected to Bhagavan Krishna, saying that he has taught this to Vivaswan and all that. Hey, what is this you are saying? You were born along with me. How could you have taught Vivaswan? Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivaswataha. That in the fifth chapter that was started by Arjuna. Hey Krishna, I want to know Sannyasasya Mahabaho. Tattvamichhami veditum. Chagasya cha Hrishikesha Pruthakesha Nishodhana is the question mentioned in this chapter. In the 5th chapter, what did Arjuna say? Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam chashamsasi echreyaetayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. You are talking of sannyasa, you are talking of jnana, you are talking of karma yoga. All these, I'm getting confused. You decide very well what is Shreyodayakam for me, and that only you mention. Iti 5th chapter he has said. 6th chapter, towards the end, he said a couple of times, I am not able to follow the upamanas you had given and the prabodha you had given because of Chanchalam Himana Krishna Pramadi Balavadrudam. This mind is very unstable. I am not able to gain the essence of what you are teaching. And towards the end again, he said, Ayati Shraddhayopeto Yoga Chalita Manasaha Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim Kamgatim Krishna Gacchati. Then 7th chapter, he was silent. 8th chapter was started by Arjuna again. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam, etc. 9th chapter, he was silent. 9th chapter, it was all Bhagavan's. It was a solo play by Bhagavan. 9th. 10th chapter, in the middle, Arjuna has praised Krishna and requested, please let me know in what all I can meditate on you. Vibhuti, he wanted. Then in the 11th chapter, it was mostly Sanjaya, Krishna and Arjuna. And mostly Arjuna, it was 11th chapter. Then 12th chapter was started by Arjuna. Evam satata yuktaye bhakta swam padyupasate echap chaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Amongst these two kind of bhaktas, who is superior? Then 13th, in some texts, the 13th chapter was started by Arjuna. Prakritim purusham chaiva, kshetram kshetrajnameva cha, etat veditum ichhami, jnanam jneyam cha keshava. And that is all, Arjuna's. Then 14th chapter, towards the end, he said he wanted to know how to identify a gunatitaha. Then 15th chapter, he was quiet. 16th chapter, he was quiet. 17th chapter was started by Arjuna. Now 18th chapter is started by Arjuna. And towards the end, Arjuna comes back again, saying, Nasto mohaha, smritir labdhaha, svat prasadan mayachyuta, sthito smigata sandehaha, karishye vachanam tava. I will do like you said. What did Krishna say? You just get rid of this conflict in the mind. You just That is all the history of Arjuna talking. Here Arjuna is saying, Sannyasasya Mahabaho, He mighty armed Krishna, He Ajanubaho Krishna. Mahabaho means that. Sannyasasya Mahabaho, Tattvam ichhami veditum. Tattvam, the true clarity of this sannyasa, I want to know. Tattvam ichhami veditum. Tattvam ichhami veditum. That is, Tattvam veditum ichhami. The Tattvam, the truth of sannyasa, veditum, to understand that, to know that, ichhami, I desire. Okay? Chagasya cha Hrishikesha. And also regarding Chaga, Chagasya cha. Chagasya cha means the Tattvam of Chagam also. Chagasya ta Tattvam ichhami veditum. Chagasya cha Hrishikesha. Pruthakesha nishodhana. I want these two separately. Don't mix up these again, Krishna. You are in the habit of confusing me. Don't. Vyamishrena vakyena buddhim mohayashiva me, which was said in the 3rd chapter. As though using conflicting words, you are as though deluding my mind. Buddhim mohayashiva me, tadekam vadanischitya, ena shreyoham apnuyam. So chagasya cha hrishikesha prudakkeshani shodhana. Differently, okay, separately, please to treat the truth of Tyaga and Sannyasa. What is that and what is this? What is the affinity between these? And you have been, all through the 16th chapters you have taught me, you have been using Tyaga and Sannyasa as though they are alternate, they are synonymous, but I'm getting confused. Once in a while you said, whenever karma phala is to be renounced, you mentioned that as Tyaga. Whereas, whenever sarva karma to be renounced, you mentioned that as sannyasa. The sarva karma phalam you mentioned as Tyaga. Sarva karma sannyasa you mentioned as sannyasa. I want to know the truth of these two. Arjuna Uvacha. Hey Mahabaho, I'm going through the Pratipadarthas. O mighty arm, Hrishikesha, Lord of senses. Hrishikesha, okay. Sannyasasya, of sannyasa, tattvam, the truth. Tattvam, the swabhava of that. The swabhava of that means that, what is the swabhava of that? What is your swabhava? Your swarupa is your swabhava. What is your swarupa? Satyam jnanam anantam. Atma. Isn't it? Atma, tattvamasi. That tattvamasi, that Mahavakya is fine. That I understand that totally, but I am not able to be that. When can I be that? Then if I can be that, I have got the truth of that. That is how sannyasa tattvam, the truth. Tyagasya cha, regarding Tyagam also, prathak, distinctly, veditum ichhami, I want to know. Veditum, no. Veditum, to know. Ichhami, I want. Arjuna said, oh mighty arm, Ekataya, I want to know distinctly the truth of sannyasa and Tyaga. O Lord of the senses, O slayer of Keshi. Keshi was a Rakshasa who came in the garb of a horse and frightened all the Gokulavasis. That is when Kitaya had to quickly eliminate him. You know, I think I mentioned this, how he eliminated him. That Keshi Rakshasi came as a huge horse, very muscular, very, very able-bodied horse. That was neighing, and that was as though calling Krishna for a fight. Bhagavan Krishna, you know what he did? He just waited for an opportunity. When it started neighing again, when its mouth was opened, Kitaya simply put his right arm through the mouth of that. And this right arm, he allowed it to keep on expanding. When it expanded, and this right arm, Kitaya, when he desires, he has got the Ashtasiddhi. He has got the Ashtasiddhis. When he desires it, he becomes like a steel rod. And that is how it became. And an expanding steel rod like. And that simply saw the end of that Keshi. So that is how, from then on, he has got the title Keshini Shodhana, Madhusodhana, Keshini Shodhana, Murari. He is the enemy of Mura, the Rakshasa who was in the employ of Narakasura. That is how Arjuna, mighty armed, Hey Kitaya, I want to know distinctly the truth of sannyasa and Tyaga, O Lord of the senses, O slayer of Keshi. Okay. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Shri, all through the Gita, after Arjuna has kind of raised a query, Bhagavan Krishna, in a very, very clever manner, he has answered all his questions. But he has answered all his questions in toto. But he wanted Arjuna not to simply, gulp whatever he is saying. He wanted Arjuna to contemplate on what he is saying. Okay? Reflect on what he is saying. That is why he has used a wonderful language. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu. See here, Nyasam giving up. That Nyasam is leaving that. Nyasam is leaving that. Okay? Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam. Like when you are going on a big pilgrimage, you are some valuables and all that, you live with your neighbor. So you have done nyasam of your valuables. A packet of valuables was done nyasam by you to the neighbor. That is how nyasam. This nyasam you will have to do where? You don't give it to others. Okay? Because they are already burdened. You simply have the will not to be worried about that. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sanyasam kavayo viduhu. Kamyana means what? Desire prompted. Karmanam. Desire prompted. Kamyanam karmanam. What are the desire promptings? I don't have a son, I want to have a son. Putra kameshti. So that becomes a kamya karma. No, I am enamored with that Swargaloka. Puranas mention in glorious terms about Swargaloka, that you can really enjoy very nicely. There is no hunger, there is no sorrow, and there is no karma for you to do. And there is nothing like a karma yoga anusthana. All these things, because of Gita Shastra, I am being burdened. This karma yoga seems to be very tough to practice, because every time you will have to do karma phalachyaga, and you will have to have the Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, through that process only you can do karma phalachyaga, and you must have that total faith that whatever the result of your action is a prasada from the Lord, and you have to take the prasada, whether it is sweet or bitter, you have to take. All this is really burdening me. I want to go to Swargaloka. Then this Swargaloka Kankshi. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadancha vipasyataha Veda vatarata padha na anyadastiti vadinaha kamatmanaha swargaparaha janma karma phalapradam. Those people not understanding the tatparya of the Veda and thinking Veda is only prompting you to do the kamya karmas, and with that mistaken notion you are getting drowned in samsara. When will you get up? That was the annoying attitude with which Krishna Bhagavan has mentioned those slokas in the second chapter. Kitaya was not against Veda. He is not against Yajna Yaga, not at all. But he is against you are doing those with kamya as the bhavana. If you have done that with moksha as the bhavana, it is a blessing. And all the tatparya of the yajnas and yagas mentioned in the Vedas, I believe, is only for mokshadham. Is only for moksha. Sarva Vedanta Sara Sangraha Gita Shastram. If all the Vedas and Vedantas, the essence of that is the Gita Shastram, and Gita Shastram is talking of only moksha. In and through all these chapters, it has been talking of moksha. It has been giving you the means for your successful travel towards moksha. The means, karma yoga anusthana, means bhakti, means atma samyama, means jnanena karma sannyasa. All these things have been mentioned. All these things have been mentioned. And the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, it is very nicely explained throughout the Gita. That was the Tatparya of the Gita Shastra. Kitaya was not against yajnas and yagas at all, but he was against those people who get stuck thinking that this is what is conveyed by the Vedas. It was not the intention of Vedas. Okay. Bhagavan Vacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. Giving up this kamya karmas is sannyasa iti kavayaha viduhu. Kavayaha means what? Kavayaha means people who they are kranta darshinaha. They can see beyond what is manifest, what is visible to you and I. What is visible to you and I, they can see that. Right? Anyway, in the Bhagavatam, in the Telugu Bhagavatam is a kind of a translation of Vyasa Bhagavan's Bhagavatam. In the Vamana Avatara, both Vyasa Bhagavan and Bammera Potana, who translated that into Telugu, both have really excelled in portraying the Vamana Avatara. The Vamana has got for the ankles, he has got that kankanam. That kankanam, as Vamana went on increasing in size, how that kankanam began, etc., was beautifully portrayed in both the texts, in the Sanskrit as well as the Telugu text. Lovely. That is how Kavi will imagine things. Kavayaha, Kranta Darshanaha. What is not evident to you and I, they will be able to decipher. They will be able to, as though, cognize. Imagination, extreme imagination, and imagination not without substance. That can be objectively allowed to be true. That is how Kranta Darshanaha.
Anna, can you chant that sloka, Nana?
Huh?
Can you chant that sloka?
It's occurring in the mind, but the tongue is not cooperative. No, I will do one thing. I will try to get hold of that text tomorrow. Okay. Instead of chanting with some errors and mistakes. It is, and the Tatparya of the sloka is available to me in the mind now. But the sloka as it is being evanescent. I will do that tomorrow. Kamyanam karmanam yasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. Those kavis are like that. Sarva karma phalathyagam prahuthyagam vichakshanaha. There are other set of people, vichakshanaha. Vichakshanaha means people who are very discriminative, very discerning, and very knowledgeable, and they are Shastravadinaha. They have understood the Vedas, they have understood the Gita Shastram, etc. All those things. Vichakshanaha. Vichakshanaha means people who have got a discerning eye. Chakshu is what? Eye. Vichakshanaha. That has got a telescopic vision, a microscopic vision. Both these visions put together, vichakshanaha, they have understood. They have said what? Sarva karma phalathyagam, prahu tyagam. Here, sannyasam, Kitaya has given up. In the first line, he has mentioned sannyasam. Now he is in the second line, he is saying sarva karma phalathyagam, sarva karma phalathyagam. This is where I mentioned Arjuna was in a conflict to understand what Krishna was trying to convey. Krishna was saying whenever phala has to be given up, Krishna has used the word tyagam. Whereas karma has to be given up, he has used the word sannyasa. So he was confused. That's why this question, sarva karma phala tyagam, doing away with the karma phala, and you are offering it to Ishvara. Sarva karma phala, all that is offered to Ishvara. That is called tyagam. Iti vichakshanaha prahuhu. Vichakshanaha prahuhu. We'll just run through the Tatparya. Then we will call it a day today. Can we go to the Tatparya Brahmara? Yeah. Shri Bhagavan said, the wise know. Vichakshanaha, the wise know. Sannyasa as not vichakshanaha. Kavayaha. The wise know sannyasa as renunciation of actions for desired objects. Desired objects. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. The learned people, vichakshanaha, say renunciation of the result of action is tyaga. Both renunciation, this renunciation is called sannyasa, this renunciation is called tyaga. Is Arjuna any wiser now than he
No, he's
began?
even more. He's
But
still in the same spot.
It's not the objective of Ketaya to confuse him, but he wants him to keep on thinking properly. Yeah. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasched Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Dhanyavad Nanaji.
Hari Om, Dhanyavad to all of you.
Hari Om, Nana.
Hari Om ji.
Thank you so much.